Nothing over school. Yeah. Yep. I'm looking for someone with experience in construction.
Okay, I guess I can go somewhere too.
You get that?
All right.
Morning, everyone. I am going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I will note that all board members are present with the exception of Council President Hudson and Larry Williams, both of whom are excused. It's nice to see you all in person. It's been a while. And we'll figure out when everybody's here where we're going to sit, but this works for now. So with that, we have two sets of minutes to accept. We'll start with the May 27th regular meeting.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. We also have the minutes from our special meeting on June 3rd.
So moved. Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. I will note, in having consulted with Joe Barry, whose voice is not 100% today, that there is no report from the secretary. So we will keep moving and turn it over to Chris to give a report from our program manager, whose voice is hopefully intact.
My voice is intact, yeah.
Good.
It is. Not too much yelling.
Good.
So, good morning. Nice to see everybody in
Morning.
person.
Me too.
So we'll start in the upper left like we always do there under procurement. Just the work at Ed Smith there, which is the fire alarm rework, has started. We've been through the procurement process there. Anticipate starting that next week. Got about 4 weeks worth of work over there. And this is to correct an issue that we had. I think we spoke about it previously, to correct an issue that we have with the head end over there, and replacing the head end for the fire alarm system, and some devicing that they have to do over there. So that's underway. Under project budget and approvals, we continue to send change orders into state ed. They continue to approve them, which is good. So that process will extend for quite some time. This morning you have a resolution for an increase of the not to exceed amount for Danforth. And that's basically, it's not a building increase, not a building budget change. It's a not to exceed increase for the contractor. And what we're doing there is some internal transfers to move some money into the construction side of the house so that we can continue to do some additional owner requested work that we had over there. I do want to point out though that next month when we come back, we will have a resolution to increase the actual building budget by $350,000. And that's to accommodate the abatement and removal of the decommissioned boilers that are there. We spoke of that last month, that we're going to proceed with that work. So the next month will be there. That was we took that to the work session last night for Syracuse City School Board. And then that they will approve, and then we'll be here next month to get the formal approval on that. So just wanted to be clear about that. And then in terms of project closeout, we're really close on all of those, Blodgett, Grant, Huntington, and Ed Smith, but getting them to final, we're still battling over a couple things there in terms of equitable changes, equitable repairs to some of the stuff there, but we're super close on those. So hoping that I'll be bringing a couple of those next month as well for final payment to move those forward. And then under our construction update, all the projects are, this fall will be, significant for us because of the fact that we're going to reoccupy a lot of the buildings, and with the exception of Henniger, which carries forward into next summer, we'll largely have a lot of the buildings dialed down. And knowing that we get into that hardest part, which is the punch list portion of that, the corrective work associated with it. But this fall, when folks come back into school, we'll have completed a significant amount of the work that we're going to do for the job, really all of them. So at Fowler, moving forward along over there, the work in the pool and in the locker rooms, the reconfiguration is done. Now we're moved into the finish phase over there. The concession storage building is coming right along there. We're doing the interior mechanical system, or HVAC, electrical interiors on it, and then that's all framed inside, and I'll be moving that forward and completing that in August. So that's coming along well. If you haven't seen it, it's a pretty good sized building over there. Corcoran at the B building, again, we're moving along, completing work over there. The gym floor, we decided we're going to replace the gym floor over there, and that required an abatement. So we're through that phase now. We're going to get back to putting the gym floor in and completing that. And work in the locker rooms is progressing well over there. And then the parking lot, if all goes as planned, we'll be seeing pavement over there for the site work that they did for the parking lot replacement over there. That should be starting next week. Henniger, again, still right along the same trajectory. The focus is the addition at the moment, to complete the finishes in the addition, to get through we have to do a walkthrough of the building so that we can get our certificate of occupancy for the addition, which is scheduled here to start our walkthroughs with fire department and with the architect punch list to get that formulated and get that in motion. So we're moving along well there. And the other big hurdle over there was the primary electric service, getting that in and getting that up and operational so that we can feed all the new spaces. So that is there. Nottingham, again, we're moving right along. That one, again, reoccupancy in the fall. I would note there that there is work that will be continuing past the fall with respect to the window replacement project that we put in there, and the bleachers, in terms of the ordering of those and getting those here. We've experienced some delays in some of the fabrications of some of the items. So
This will, working on windows, be disruptive to the classrooms?
it's phased, Pat, like we've done before, so that
Okay.
we mitigate that. We wanted to get a lot of the disruptive stuff done this fall, before students are back, so it's a focus this summer. But it's phased, it's staged so that we can continue it without disruption.
Okay.
So. And that one, by and large over there, that entire job has been that way, that we take an area
Right.
offline and then we put it back on and we put it
Yeah.
back, and that's, for the most part, that's gone well. So I don't think your phone rang too much on me, right? A couple times maybe, but, then at Clary, again, we're in final approach on that one. The only exception there is the areas, we have 3 or 4 areas where we bought additional casework, and that work will be done by the end of August, but the balance of the building will be the beginning of July here, as we move in. And if you haven't been over there, I think, one of the significant improvement over there with the natural light. We put a lot of windows in the corridors, we put the windows in the interior rooms so they get natural light in, and really significant improvement. The locker rooms as well are just, we're totally gutted and rebuilt, so some significant differences there. Danforth, which has been the one that we've, probably the one we've had spending the most amount of time on, but we did a walk last week and talked through that. We've identified that there'll be some cohabitation there for a little bit in terms of the district facilities folks moving stuff in the beginning, end of July, beginning of August, and then we have teachers coming back in to set up the second 2 weeks of August. And there are going to be some exceptions over there in terms of being done because of this. We decided to do this boiler replacement. That's going to, because the abatement's going to require a fair amount of time to do that, several weeks. And then we've got work that follows that in terms of rebuilding the steam pipe header that's in there to the boilers. So I think the long and the short of that is that work can be isolated and continue. The plan is to have the abatement done, and the work that'll be happening down there will be mechanical work, that'll continue into September. And as we've spoken before, so to have full heating capacity of that building, we won't have that until the end of September. We will be able to get a boiler online should we need some supplemental heat, but typically, you can get through September without anything super cold. But did want to note that. So, and we framed that the exceptions have been framed, I think, and communicated to folks.
So you'll need to have time to remove the boiler while the time the children are at this, and the
No,
building?
we'll have the demolition and abatement completed, by the end of August. Actually, before the end of August is the plan. And then the mechanical trades will continue in that space. But it's pretty, it's isolated down there. It's within the boiler room.
Right.
And it'll be, the mechanical contractor and the controls contractor will be the ones that'll be down there working in September.
Okay.
But again, we'll make accommodations for that in terms of, isolating the area with a barrier or whatever we need to do with that.
Okay.
Just under the constraints and critical issues, not a whole lot there to report, kind of tracking some of the same things. I would emphasize that even though we'll be completed or significantly completed by the fall to allow reoccupancy, that punch list process, as we all know, is a long and arduous one to get the punch list corrective work done. So that will continue, several months past September to get through the punch list process. And I just want to be candid about that so everybody understands that it is inherently one of the most difficult parts to get done. So it's, we'll get there. Underneath the material and labor, we're watching, we're feeling the effects, we're feeling some effects of select trades. It's definitely a busy summer, and there's definitely a lot of work that's happening, and we're just, we're keeping eyes on that and kind of keeping track. If we're missing some people here, we call around and find out, where did the labor force go, and keeping our finger on that. And we are seeing the market itself is a little crazy right now with the lead time on some of the stuff. Anything with resin in it, terrazzo, plastic countertops, certain epoxies. There was a big issue with the production plant in Texas, and we're still feeling the effects of them being offline. And so that is delaying certain products. Certain steel products have super long lead times right now. So with us, we have most of that stuff already been procured, but some of the finished stuff like the terrazzo, we have terrazzo at a few different buildings that may be impacted, and we'll just have to come up with a workaround to do a temporary infill or whatever we need to do to get open. And then if there's some terrazzo work that has to be comeback work in the evening, we'll deal with that accordingly. So. And then I think the only other one, just on our timeline on the bottom, I just wanted to point out, we've talked about it before, but once we can get through the substantial completion of most of these buildings, we're going to regroup and kind of reconcile budgets, and then we'll talk about what else we can or can't do with funds remaining. So we've always kind of earmarked Henniger as the building that we would revisit, given the fact that one goes into next summer and there's opportunity to develop a package and procure some additional work there. But we'll know more about that in the fall once we can kind of regroup on budgets. That's the extent of what I had. Any questions?
I have a question. So when we regroup, Blodgett cannot be considered as putting more money in it?
Well, Blodgett was our challenge with Blodgett was the MCA. Was the ability to do additional work because of the MCA kind of limits or constricts what we're able to do. So even though, yeah, we might have a balance that we could move there, it would be unaidable by and large. So, good question.
Went to Denver this morning, or Brighton, so more progress, so.
We're getting there. A lot of forces on the first floor now, trying to get finishes in place. So they're pushing hard. So, all right. Thank
Chris.
you very much.
Okay, next up, we have our financial summary. Good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning. It's nice to see all of you in person. It's been a while. This morning, we are going to go over the results through April of 2021. Not a lot happening for the month. We actually received $361,000 from the QSCB subsidy and then transferred that over through to the district. In addition to that, we earned interest of $492 because the interest rates are exceptionally low. And then the vendor payments that were approved in March were paid in March. So there's actually no vendor payments going through this month. April's will be paid out in May. And we ended the month with $106 million in cash, of which about $19.5 million is still in the fund balance. At the bottom on the graph, we are showing that we've received nearly 100% of all cash inflows that we expect for the year. Cash outflows in the orange that are remaining of $38 million, we'll pay out about $24 million next month for debt service payments. And then we will also pay the April and May vendor payments totaling about $14 million. So not much more to report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Suzanne?
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Right, moving right along, we have, looks like 2 resolutions, and I will read the short title for Joe and fill in any blanks if I miss them. Thank you. So first up, we have resolution number 19-2021 to authorize the monthly payments to all JSCB contractors, including the PM and ICO, at a cost not to exceed $7,437,526.70 in accordance with the attached appendix. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right. Next up, we have resolution number 20-2021, amending resolution number 36 of 2020, authorizing the execution of a contract with Pack and Associates of Oswego to be the prime contractor for the Danforth Middle School project. Amend to increase the construction contingency budget by $250,000 for a total contingency budget not to exceed $1,006,000. The contingency budget was $756,000 for a total not to exceed contract authorization of $16,310,000, which was previously $16,060,000.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right. Any further business to come before the board? Motion to adjourn?
Move.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thanks, everybody. That was easy.